What would be a fair distance, do you think, for a turbine to be positioned from a house?
Well, 500 metres is the current guidelines, and that seems fair.
And Miriam, those guidelines were brought in the 80s.
1 second, David, I'll bring you back.
Those guidelines were brought in the 80s when turbines were 50 metres tall. Just to get a concept of this, these turbines are the spire with Liberty Hall on top. They are truly enormous, and they're saying it is acceptable to put those 500 metres from a person's house.
Can I have come back for one moment?
What's so funny? I'm going to be sitting in my house and have to close the curtains. Excuse me, if you could just listen to me?
Yeah?
Just for 1 second. It's not funny.
Exactly.
I am struggling to pay a mortgage every month, and this is going to be a monstrosity in front of my home because it is so close to my home.
Backward there, Judy, yeah.
Yes, just Eddie O'Connor, just interestingly, 6 weeks ago in Lee County in America, 60 residents started a lawsuit against the county and Ireland-based mainstream renewable power. Now, interestingly, what they cited over there is this action is necessary to save the value of our homes and farms. The construction of so many turbine towers in this populated and farming area will cause very lasting damage. That rings very true with me. I'm a farmer's wife, 4 young children living in a rural area in Jamestown in County Laois. Everywhere I will drive and go with my children will have turbines. Every corner will have them. Pat Rabbit should be sitting there tonight and should be answering questions on this topic and not sending someone who's an ex-minister out to stand up and defend this policy.
Well, actually, he didn't send him, to be fair.
In fairness, he's here. And he's no longer, you know, we have no government voice in this. Our government are telling us that this is European policy, local policy, and we're being told we will get used to these turbines. We'll get used to looking at them. Like they said, like the people of Cork and Kerry, you just get used to them. I'm sorry, I can't see myself getting used to 185 metre turbine.
Bring it back to the point this gentleman made about engaging the community. The community have not been engaged. 2,000 farmers have been signed up before any consultation took place, any consultation whatsoever. They have railroaded this into the community, and that is why there are 30 groups formed in the Midlands in 10 months. That's a group every 10 days. A group forming in the Midlands every 10 days. That's a huge groundswell because the companies have not engaged, they have railroaded.
Every hand is up in this audience. We could run for an hour. Can I just ask Joe Osborne, because of your point, I know Joe.
To bring the dialogue back to talking about attracting industries and employment, the thoroughbred industry, which I represent as the Breeders' Association chairman, employs 17,000 people in rural Ireland, a lot of them in the counties which are affected by this latest proposal. That is under direct threat by these turbines. It's the scale of them, it's the size of them. We're an industry that depends on inward investment.
Why, Joe? Briefly, why is it on?
We depend on inward investment, and that boils down to the aesthetics of the environment. People are not going to buy a stud farm, a training yard next to a turbine. I can guarantee that. Also, there's a health and safety issue. There's a health and safety issue. People who I've spoken to are not going to ride the skittish thoroughbreds underneath a turbine. They're not going to walk a horse underneath these turbines with shadow, with noise. There are serious health and safety concerns for our members.
I do want a quick word here.
I just don't accept that at all. I mean, why would people stop investing in stud farms on account of wind turbines? I mean, the electricity will be cheaper in 10 years' time because we don't know what the price of gas or oil or coal is going to be then.
Henry?
And on top of Joe's point, not only do we use our landscape and our environment for our thoroughbred industry, we also use it to grow and market our food, which is a huge industry. We also use it for our tourism. And Eamon misses the point completely. What he's talking about is us being Europe's offshore wind farm. And our wind resource is not greater than Europe's. It's certainly not greater than the whole north half of England. So this vision of Ireland producing lots of wind energy for the UK is not as sustainable. It's not in line with our core values and the core things we're good at, which is based around our landscape, which will be devastated by this.
In the same way 50 years ago that Whittaker saw that we had a comparative advantage in growing grass and we turned it into a food industry, which is now a €9 billion industry.
Grass is that height.
We have the opportunity here to turn the comparative advantage of renewable resources into power for this country that will exist for generations to come.
You cannot compare grass that grows to about 10 inches high with 185 metre turbines.
It's the comparative
and you said a second ago,
Yeah, Eddie, you have to listen to people. It's clear that the regulations are outmoded. I'm not against your industry, but you shouldn't be afraid to learn. You shouldn't be afraid to listen.
People at their doorsteps. Don't accuse us of not talking to people, please. You don't know what you're
Your body language says it, Eddie.
Listen, sir, who says it?
Your body language says that you know more than them.
No, well, okay, I'm sorry about that.
It's up to you and us to earn the trust of the community.
Can I just say something? This debate could go on. Every hand is up here. I'm really sorry. I have run out of time. I give you my word. I'm going to insist to my editor we come back to this, OK? Thank you to my panellists. Thank you to all my audience. That's it for tonight. The next News on RTE is coming up right after this programme on News Now.